Do you know about the Japanese art of repairing broken ceramics with special lacquer mixed with gold, silver, or platinum? Instead of hiding cracks, this 400 to 500-year-old technique seeks to repair broken things not by disguising the break, but rather by emphasizing it. The word is written with characters meaning gold and connect, as in connecting to the word or connecting generations. One afternoon, a friend came to my house desperate. She had dropped her mother-in-law's favorite vase, a family heirloom. "Naomi, everything is lost," she cried. 3 months later, that same vase was on her dining table, with its golden scars shining in the candlelight. Her mother-in-law was moved. Now it has even more history. The moment when something was broken is permanently captured by the hard work of a craftsman, and this is what minimalism with soul does to us. It is not about having less just to have less. For the Japanese, the marks of time on objects show the true meaning of use of the piece. When we consciously choose each object that remains in our life, when we care for, repair, and honor their imperfections, we create a connection that no impulse purchase can generate. The 5 objects that changed my vision. Let me tell you about my ritual of 5 objects, a practice I developed for each room in the house. In my living room, for example, I choose only 5 pieces that carry utility, beauty, or personal history. First, my reading chair, with the fabric already a bit worn from use. Second, the walnut table I mentioned. Third, a ceramic lamp I made in an art course during a difficult period. Fourth, a plant that I always rescue when it was dying. Today, it blooms. Fifth, a photo of Kenji as a child, smiling in grandmother Akiko's garden. Each object has purpose. Each one tells a story. None is there by chance or to impress visitors. And you know what happens when you live like this? You stop feeling that strange weight of always tidying up, always looking for something, always dissatisfied. The Closet of 33 Pieces. A lesson in freedom. Let me tell you about my most transformative experience. Since the 2008 crisis, I maintain a closet of only 33 pieces that combine with each other. Does it seem restrictive? It is exactly the opposite. It is liberating. Every morning I open my closet and in less than 2 minutes I am dressed. There are no orphan pieces, no clothes that do not match anything, no guilt for not wearing something that has been hanging there for months. Each piece has purpose, has function, has beauty. A friend visited me recently and was fascinated. "Naomi, how do you manage to dress well every day with so few clothes?" The answer is simple. When you choose quality pieces that truly reflect your style, when you stop buying on impulse and start buying with intention, everything becomes harmonious. The secret is not in quantity, it is in coherence. My 33 pieces were chosen thinking of the woman I am today. Someone who values discreet elegance, fabric quality, timeless cuts. I have 5 pairs of shoes, each with a specific purpose. 7 pieces of jewelry in a walnut wooden box, each with meaning. Compare this with my mother, who before her transformation had 3 closets packed and still complained that she had nothing to wear. The problem was never scarcity. It was excess. Excess of options without criteria. Excess of pieces bought on impulse. Excess of decisions every day. Today she lives the same freedom as I do, a small closet, but each piece there is a conscious choice. And the best part, there is time left for more important things than deciding what to wear. The silent revolution of empty space, the power of pause. The Japanese philosophy developed as a philosophical concept around the 16th century in Japan, based on Zen Buddhist ideals. One of the great lessons I learned living in Japan was about the value of empty space, what they call ma. Ma is not just absence, it is presence. Presence of possibilities, of breathing, of contemplation. It is the silence between musical notes that makes the melody possible. It is the empty space on the wall that allows the single painting hanging there to really be seen. It is the pause in conversation that allows words to have weight. It is not decorative laziness, people. It is intentional. It is sacred. It is the place where your mind rests when you come home, when you stop filling every available inch, When you resist the temptation to put just one more little thing, you create space to breathe, to think, to simply be. One afternoon, I was at the house of an acquaintance who prided herself on being maximalist. Every 3 steps, there was something different competing for my attention. A colorful vase, a patterned pillow, a decorative object, a plant, a painting, another vase. I left there with a headache. I could not concentrate on anything because everything was screaming at the same time. Last week, a client called me frustrated. "Naomi, I organized everything as you taught, but the room still seems empty." I explained that empty is not synonymous with soulless. It is synonymous with space for the soul to inhabit. Huge difference. Ma teaches that true luxury is not having much. It is having space to appreciate the little we have. What popular organization methods do not tell you. The difference between joy and soul. Now, I need to talk about something that many people confuse. Popular organization methods have done important work in popularizing Japanese organization worldwide. But there is a fundamental difference between popular methods and true Japanese minimalism. Some defend that we should keep everything that brings us joy. Do you know what I discovered? Almost everything can bring joy at a specific moment. Even that blouse I never wear can awaken excitement when I remember the person who gave it to me as a gift. The problem is that living based only on momentary joy can lead us back to accumulation. Ancestral Japanese minimalism, which existed long before any modern guru, goes beyond. The philosophy means refusing the unnecessary, discarding the useless, separating oneself from the insane desire for unnecessary things. The question is not, does this bring me joy? But rather, do I need this now, being who I am today? The difference is subtle, but revolutionary. A client told me, "Naomi, following the joy method, I kept 47 coats because they all reminded me of happy moments. Following the ancestral philosophy, I kept 7 coats that I really use and that makes sense for my current life." Do you see the difference? Minimalism with soul does not deny emotions. It honors them in a more mature way. It is asking, what does the person I am today, with the responsibilities and dreams I have today, really need to live well? The first awakening, when less was more than everything. In 2008, I lost almost everything in the financial crisis. Apartment, investments, that comfortable feeling of being successful. But it was only when I was left with 2 suitcases, yes, just 2, returning from Japan, that I discovered something revolutionary. For the first time in years, I was breathing. Japanese philosophy teaches us to value the wear marks from using an object, and it was exactly this that my grandmother Akiko showed me when I was a child. She kept a single teacup, imperfect, with small scratches, and told me that scars told more interesting stories than any perfect surface. The problem is that we live in a world that sells us the idea that we need to hide our imperfections, including those of our objects. We buy, discard, buy again. And in this infinite cycle, we lose not only money, but our ability to create true bonds with what surrounds us. I need to confess something. The Instagram perfect house. I need to confess something. I got tired of seeing Instagram-worthy houses where no one really lives. Spaces so perfect they look like museums, so aseptic that you are afraid to put a teacup on the coffee table. My walnut dining table, which I bought in 2010, has marks. Kenji did homework there when he was a child. My father cut tomatoes for breakfast when he visited me. I myself spilled red wine during a heated discussion about architecture with a friend. Each mark tells a story. Each imperfection is a living memory. Japanese philosophy is based on the belief that we should nurture everything that is authentic by recognizing 3 simple realities. Nothing lasts, nothing is finished, and nothing is perfect. And in this imperfection lies all the poetry of life, the beauty that grows with time, when new is not better. My pantry has only 25 items. It may seem little, but each one was chosen with care. Extra virgin olive oil that I buy directly from the producer in the region of Santa Barbara County. Himalayan pink salt that I use both for cooking and for a relaxing bath. Green tea that I drink every Friday while practicing my weekly ritual of Japanese household financial control. Each product has quality, has history, has multiple purposes. And when you invest in fewer items but of better quality, a curious thing happens. They last longer, you value them more, and the very act of using them becomes a ritual of care. It is like Japanese aesthetics that value the wear marks from using an object. My wooden cutting board has scratches from years of use. Each mark tells a story. My iron pan gained a beautiful patina that only time and care can create. My organic cotton sheets became softer with each wash. Beauty does not diminish with time. It transforms, matures, gains depth. The other day, I visited a house where everything was brand new, shiny, without a single mark. Do you know what I felt? Coldness. Absence. As if no one really lived there. There were no memories on the walls, no history in the objects, no soul in the environment. There is a difference between preserving well and constantly replacing. The first is love. You care because you value. The second is fear. You replace because you cannot accept that things age, that life leaves marks, that static perfection does not exist. In our throwaway culture, choosing to repair instead of replace is a revolutionary act. It is saying, I see beauty in what has history. I value what has been lived. I understand that some marks are more precious than any perfect surface. The inheritance we leave, teaching through example. Kenji, my son, learned these practices almost by osmosis. Today, at 21 years old, living in the college dorm studying civil engineering, he has a room that is a marvel of functional simplicity. Not because he is a poor student, but because he understood that organized space is organized mind, that fewer things mean more freedom, that taking care of objects is a way of taking care of oneself. When he moved to the dorm, I helped prepare his things. 2 suitcases, exactly as I brought from Japan. Mom, he told me, I do not need anything else. If I need something specific, I will buy it later. But I want to start with the essential. Seeing my son naturally applying the principles of not wasting and refusing the unnecessary made me realize that the best teaching does not come from sermons, but from example. He grew up seeing a house where each object had purpose, where daily rituals were valued, where repairing was nobler than discarding. And this makes me think, what world are we building for the next generations? A world where they need more and more to be happy? Or a world where they know how to find beauty in the simple, value in the lasting, peace in the essential? One afternoon, I received a message from him. Mom, my roommate was impressed with my organization. He asked if I could teach him. He said he had never seen someone so young living so intentionally. This is the kind of inheritance worth leaving. The Japanese art teaches us that it is possible to transform difficulties into opportunities for growth and renewal. And this applies to objects as well as lives, to houses as well as souls, to one generation as well as the next. The day I understood true minimalism. It was 2012 when my mother became ill. A woman who had always been obsessed with aesthetics, accumulation, the status that objects conferred. Suddenly, in the hospital, none of that mattered. 0. What mattered was having free hands to hold hers, a free mind to be present, a free heart to love without conditions. She recovered, thank God. And it was she herself who told me, Naomi, I never want to be a slave to my things again. Today, at 74 years old, she lives in a serene apartment with carefully chosen pieces and is the most elegant and peaceful woman I know. Minimalism with soul is not about deprivation. It is about conscious choice. It is not about having little. It is about having the essential. It is not about economy. It is about true value. The rituals that cultivate the soul, the ceremony of daily life. Every Friday, at 6 in the evening, I do my weekly review ritual. I sit at the walnut table with a cup of green tea and my favorite white porcelain, the one with the golden scar, and practice Japanese household financial control that I learned in Japan. It is not just about money. It is about intention. It is about stopping and asking, What brought joy this week? What consumed unnecessary energy? What needs to be adjusted for next week? It is a meeting with myself that no productivity app can replace. During this ritual, I use only 6 items: my fountain pen that I got from Grandmother Akiko, a Japanese paper notebook, the tea bowl, a beeswax candle, a white linen cloth to clean the table afterward, and a small vase with a single seasonal flower. It is not frenzied productivity. It is care. It is intention. It is the kind of luxury that no money can buy. Quality time with myself, in a space that breathes, surrounded only by objects that make sense. And do you know what I discovered? When you stop chasing the next object, the next organization, the next magic solution, you finally have time to live, to talk, to contemplate, to create, to patiently repair what needs care. The Japanese tea ceremony teaches that each encounter is unique and unrepeatable. Each moment is precious exactly because it will not return. When we apply this philosophy to our daily life, each simple gesture gains meaning. Each object touched with attention becomes sacred. Last night's revelation. The golden scar. I was last night polishing my ceramic bowl, the one I inherited from my grandmother Akiko, and that has a beautiful golden scar running across the entire side. My neighbor, who was having tea with me, looked at the piece and said, "What a shame about that crack, Naomi. Why do you not buy a new one?" It was at that moment that I realized how much we still need to talk about what it really means to live with soul. If you are here, you have probably already felt that your house is full, but your life is empty, that you have everything, but you have nothing, that you organize, tidy up, buy again, and the feeling of inner disorder continues there, waiting for you at the end of each day. Choose your golden scar. If you have come this far, you probably already feel that there is a more elegant, more serene, more conscious way to live. Minimalism with soul is not about following rigid rules. It is about listening to your intuition, honoring your history, consciously choosing what remains in your life. It is not about having a magazine house. It is about having a house that is a refuge, a place where each object has a reason to be there, where silence is valued as much as sound, where imperfections are celebrated as marks of a life really lived. Your house reflects your soul. Your way of organizing reveals your way of thinking. Your relationship with objects mirrors your relationship with yourself. When you choose to live with less, but with much more intention, something changes inside. You stop seeking outside what can only be found inside. Currently, I live in Los Angeles, in the Torrance neighborhood in South Bay, where I have always lived since I returned from Japan. My paternal family is of American origin, and it was here that I learned to combine the best of both cultures, American practicality with Japanese wisdom. Living in Southern California, surrounded by a culture that often values accumulation and constant novelty, I have learned that true elegance lies in intentional simplicity. It is possible to live beautifully, consciously, and with purpose, regardless of the cultural pressures around us. And tell me, imperfection is beauty. Do you agree with this phrase? Think about what golden scar you are ready to celebrate in your own life. What marks tell your story? What objects truly deserve space in your daily sanctuary? Until our next conversation, with care and always in search of the essential. Naomi Yamada.